Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Blake Damon here with another stop motion speed build. Today we'll be building in Salvadorada, is that how you say it, Salvadorada? In the neighborhood of Belomisia Jungle? I hope I'm saying these right. On the lot where the jungle bungalow used to sit. Hey, at least I know how to say jungle bungalow, right? Unless I've screwed that up too. So because this build is in... how do I say it? Salvadorada? Whatever, you get it. So because it's built in that place that shall not be named, it's a rental property. It was originally a tiny home residential, but where I had built it was in Oasis Springs. And when I was doing the screenshots, the surroundings didn't really quite match my landscaping. That's when I decided that I would move my build from Oasis Springs to to this place. And yes, the screenshots turned out much better. Now, the inspiration for this build came very unexpectedly. I was watching something on YouTube and then that finished. And you know how it just autoplays and it just puts another video up that it thinks you might be interested in. So there's a documentary about this architect called Frank Lloyd Wright comes up, and they pan onto this beautiful building that I later find out to be the Mayan House, and I'm hooked. I end up watching the entire documentary and I find out about the tragedy that led him to design these Mayan looking houses. Basically, his lover and her two kids were all massacred by one of their caretakers of the house. This led Frankie Boy into a deep depression and grief and got a little bit obsessed with death culture, which somehow led him to Mayan architecture. Anyway, one of the most extraordinary things that he invented and implemented in these Mayan style structures were these concrete blocks with Mayan symbols on them. And since this is a Frank Lloyd Wright inspired build, I decided that I would try to replicate that on this build. So as you can see here, I've actually used these tiles from Jungle Adventure. They stick to the walls like paintings almost. So I basically encased the top floor in these tiles to sort of make it feel like a Frank Lloyd Wright designed house. I kind of like the way it turned out. I mean, you know, Frank Lloyd Wright did it best, but this is the best I could do in The Sims. The interesting thing about Frank's residential designs that have this Mayan twist is that a lot of them aren't being used as residents. The person in the documentary said that one of the reasons might be because the buildings feel like temples or tombs, neither of which are very welcoming. So they're all mostly left vacant, which is a pity because I personally would love to live in one. So for this build, I tried to keep it looking temple-like and oppressive and generally unwelcoming on the outside, but I didn't really want the same for the inside. So for the inside, I used an abundance of color. I was going with mostly blue hues, but literally any color would have done. In contrast to the outside, which is mostly monochrome, lots of browns and grays, tried to fill the inside with as much color as I could in order to make it feel alive. It was really important to me to have the inside feel as warm and welcoming as I could. I was a little limited by the fact that I was only using Jungle Adventure and base game, so I couldn't really give it the cozy vibes that I was really going for. But I think I did okay considering my very limited catalog. Oh, we just did the bedroom, and I must say I really love the vaulted ceilings in that room. I was actually hoping to have like a second floor, but I didn't quite know what to put underneath it. I mean, we already have the toilet, the living area, the kitchen, and a place to eat. We only really needed a place to sleep. So I just thought, you know what? We'll have a place to sleep with vaulted ceilings. I also tried to find a way to use the roof area because it's flat, but I couldn't contrive a way to get up there. So I just gave up on it. I felt like a ladder up from the side of the wall was just weird, so I didn't do it that way. But if you download this build, please feel free free to give it your best shot. We don't really need the roof anyway. We have plenty of space in the back. There's no furniture out there because I really wanted to keep with the theme of the outside feeling unwelcoming. But if you do download this build, feel free to furnish the back as you please. And now we're heading into the landscaping part of the build. Usually I absolutely hate doing landscaping. You all should know this, but if you don't, you're probably new here. So welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe. However, now that I'm doing stop motion, landscaping is no longer the nightmare that it usually is. I think the trouble with landscaping or even furnishing while doing speed builds is the looking for the items part, especially when debug is involved. I love debug, but sometimes I hate debug, especially when you're just trying to find like one thing and you're forever scrolling through the catalog just trying to find that one thing. It doesn't make for a great video watching someone scroll through a catalog. But with stop motion, you literally build your entire build and then proceed to delete everything one item at a time, all the while taking screenshots. It takes ages, but at least I don't have to go play hide and seek with the catalog. Oh guys, just a warning about that gate there. Your sim can't actually walk through it, but if you click on it, it'll give you an option to travel through it, which will teleport you to one of the gates near the national park in this neighborhood. I didn't know that it would do that. I will try to see if I can use a different gate before I upload. And this is why you must always playtest your builds. Also, you can't swim in that pool for some reason, and I don't know why. Anyway, look, I hope to fix all the issues that I noticed when I was playtesting this before I upload. I'll probably forget, but I will try to remember, if that makes any sense at all. Speaking of uploads, I'll probably upload 2 versions of this build. I'll probably upload a rental version and a tiny home residential version as well. The rental version fits really nicely on a 30 by 30, while the tiny home residential version fits really nicely on a 30 by 40. Oh, here comes my little pond. I don't mind building them anymore because it's all going to be in stop motion anyway. Expect to see them in more of my builds. Which reminds me, I need to put up a fishing sign on the pond. I should make a list of things to do. And I think that's the build complete. And now we'll go ahead and do some flybys. All in all, I absolutely love this build. I think mainly for 2 reasons. The first being that I've never done a build like this before. You know, if you're a builder and if you've been building for some time, it feels like you're just building the same thing over and over again, or building in the same style. I definitely noticed that with my builds. So it feels nice to kind of break out every now and then and do something completely different. And the second reason is probably because I'm totally obsessed with Frank Lloyd Wright's Mayan houses. I really want one for myself. And because it would be impossible for me to be able to ever afford one of his houses, I guess this is my way of having one of his houses. Would totally prefer having one in real life, but this will have to do. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out. Don't forget to do yourself a favor and like and subscribe to this channel. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section down below. Now, the only pack I used for this build was Jungle Adventure. Check out this Hispanic build using the same pack.